This message is for you, and God says you must not take this lightly. Do not think you are here by accident. Do not think your eyes fell upon these words randomly. You were drawn here because something has shifted in the unseen realms. A chain of events has begun that will alter everything you thought you knew about your life, your relationships, and your destiny. God is speaking through this moment, and the archangels are leaning close, whispering what they have seen, what they have heard, and what you must now understand. Archangel Insight says, there was a moment, not long ago, when your person's friend saw your picture. It seemed small, almost meaningless to the world, but in that instant, something spiritual broke open. It wasn't just a glance, it was a trigger in the heavens. This friend didn't just look at you, they felt something shift in their spirit. The very atmosphere around them changed. A look of surprise, then deep thought, then an almost unshakable awareness settled on them. They could no longer see your person's life the same way after that. You have to understand, God says, that moments like these don't happen for no reason. Heaven places certain images, certain encounters, in the path of people as a divine catalyst. And this moment where your picture crossed their eyes, became a turning point. What they said afterwards, even they didn't fully understand at first. But their words carried weight in the spiritual realms. They spoke something that pierced through the unseen layers of your person's heart. God says, there are people who are like silent keys. They don't hold the door to your life, but they hold the power to turn the locks in someone else's soul. This friend was one of those keys. They didn't come to destroy you, they didn't come to harm you, but they came as a tester of truth. And the truth they spoke, the truth they saw, became something your person could not unhear. From the moment they spoke, heaven began rearranging situations. Angels shifted positions. Memories that were buried began to rise in your person's mind. Emotions they had locked away came back with new strength. They started to see you differently, not as a passing thought, not as an option, but as someone marked by divine purpose in their life. God says, your name has been spoken in rooms you have never stepped into. Your face has been seen in dreams you were never aware of. You have been the subject of conversations that heaven itself has overheard. And now, because of this one moment, the energy between you and your person has been rewritten. The archangels say this change was necessary. Your connection had been stuck in a cycle, running in the same patterns, almost ready to fade into nothingness because of doubt, distraction, and fear. But heaven was not willing to let that happen. The angels moved a friend into place, a friend who would see you and unknowingly ignite something that could not be put out. Do not mistake this for coincidence. The kingdom does not work in coincidences. God works in divine alignments. And this moment was exactly that, an alignment that would cause the unseen chains to loosen, the resistance to break, and the truth to come rushing forward. Your person has been restless since then. You may not see it in their actions yet, but it is there. They have been replaying things in their mind, questioning choices, feeling a pull toward you that is heavier than before. That is the work of God, pulling on their heartstrings, reminding them that what is meant cannot be erased by time, distance, or even stubbornness. And now God says, prepare yourself. What happens next will be swift. A shift like this does not linger in limbo. It demands movement. Your person is about to face moments where they can no longer deny what they feel. Words will be spoken, actions will be taken, and the ground beneath your story will change. Do not be afraid of this change. It is not here to harm you. It is here to free you. Even if what was said by this friend seems simple or unclear, know that heaven heard it and sealed it into your timeline. This is why the archangels have been watching you so closely lately, why you have felt random bursts of emotion, sudden waves of nostalgia, or moments where your heart races for no reason. You are connected to the shift, and it is already unfolding. God says, I am bringing clarity where there was confusion. I am bringing truth where there were lies. I am bringing connection where there was separation. This is your confirmation that the moment your picture was seen, a spiritual key was turned, and nothing will be the same again. Do not share this lightly. This is for you. This is your sign. And this is your moment to believe what I am doing in your life. Heaven has already moved, and now it is your turn to trust. I can now continue into the full expansion where God's message dives deeper into the exact spiritual changes, emotional effects, hidden conversations, and the prophetic outcome of this shift. Do you want me to continue into that full message now? God says, you think this was just about a picture, but it was about so much more. That moment your image reached their eyes, the atmosphere in the room changed in a way even they could not explain. The air felt heavier, their heart beat differently, and an awareness fell on them as if heaven itself whispered something into their spirit. This was not a casual glance, this was an activation. The archangels say, the friend's spirit picked up on something divine about you. They may not have known why, but they knew you were not like everyone else. Something about your presence in that picture carried a frequency that only certain souls can detect, a frequency that marks those who are chosen, protected, and destined for impact. And once they felt that, they could not be silent. They spoke, maybe lightly, maybe casually, but their words were loaded with heavenly weight. What they said, even if it seemed ordinary, went straight into your person's heart like an arrow of truth. God says, my truth can travel through any mouth I choose, even the mouths of those who don't know they are speaking for me. The moment they spoke, your person's heart began to open in places that had been shut for a long time. Memories they buried resurfaced. Feelings they pushed away returned stronger. The angels leaned closer, watching carefully. Every syllable spoken was recorded in heaven, because this conversation was not small, it was the unlocking of a chain that had held your connection hostage. Archangel Insight says, the friend's reaction sparked curiosity, and curiosity is the first doorway to revelation. Your person began asking silent questions. Why do they see this in you? Why does your presence matter this much? Why can't they shake the thought of you now? These questions are the hooks God uses to draw hearts back into alignment with His plan. Your person may have tried to brush it off at first, but God says, you cannot unhear truth, and you cannot unfeel what I awaken in you. Every time they think about the conversation, every time they remember the way their friend reacted, it is as if the picture appears again in their mind, not just the image, but the energy, the light, the destiny they sense around you. And here is what heaven wants you to know, the friend's words did not only change your person's perspective. They also stirred the spiritual forces around them. There are battles you cannot see, conversations you will never hear, but the moment this happened, certain negative influences began to lose their grip. Those who wanted to keep your person distracted, doubtful, or distant began to feel unsettled, because the divine thread between you was pulling tighter again. God says, this is why you have felt strange shifts in your spirit recently. At random times you felt heavy for no reason, then suddenly light. You felt a sudden urge to think of them, to pray for them, to hope for them. That's because their spirit is reaching for yours, even without their conscious permission. This is not just about romance. This is about destiny. There are purposes in your life that are tied to this person's journey, and there are purposes in their life tied to yours. Heaven will not allow that connection to wither in silence. It is being restored, rebuilt, reawakened. Archangel Insight says, you must also be prepared for what comes next. When a shift like this happens, resistance tries to rise. Some people in your person's life may notice their attention shifting toward you and feel threatened. This is not because you have done anything wrong, but because the enemy always tries to interfere when divine alignments start moving into place. God says, I will handle that. Do not fight in the flesh. Keep your spirit clean, your heart open, and your faith unshaken. Soon, your person will say something you were not expecting, words that will confirm they've been thinking about you, feeling drawn to you, unable to let go of what has been awakened. When that moment comes, it will feel sudden to you, but heaven wants you to understand, it has been building ever since the friend saw your picture. God says, do not underestimate small moments. In the kingdom, small moments are seeds that grow into unstoppable harvests. That look, that reaction, those few words spoken, they were seeds planted deep into the soil of your connection, and they are already sprouting in ways you will soon see. I can continue directly into the next deep section where God details the exact emotions your person is feeling right now and the coming divine sequence of events triggered by that one moment. Do you want me to go straight into that part now? God says, right now, in this very hour, your person is feeling the pull but does not fully understand it. It is as if their heart keeps tugging them in your direction, but their mind is still catching up. They are asking themselves why this is happening, why they can't stop thinking about you, why the friend's words won't leave their spirit. This is because when heaven plants a seed, it keeps pressing until it breaks the surface. Archangel Insight says, this pull is not just emotional, it is spiritual. Your souls have cords between them that were designed before you were even born. When the friend saw your picture, it was like striking a match against that cord. The spark traveled instantly, igniting a flame your person can no longer ignore. Even if they try to focus on other things, the thought of you slips in like light under a closed door. Right now, they are experiencing what God calls holy unrest. This is when the soul cannot sit still because it knows it is out of alignment with God's plan. Your person may distract themselves, bury themselves in work, talk to others, but the moment they are alone, their mind drifts back to you. The angels see this happening again and again, a cycle of distraction followed by longing, of avoidance followed by remembrance. God says, there is a conversation coming that will change the way you both see each other forever. It will seem casual at first, maybe even unexpected, but behind those words will be months, even years, of stored-up emotions, questions, and unspoken truths. The friend's reaction has opened the door for this conversation to happen, and heaven will make sure it does. Do you remember those times you wondered if they ever thought of you? If your absence made a difference? God says, you are about to see with your own eyes that you were never forgotten. Their soul kept you close, even when their actions didn't show it. That is why this moment, this seeing of your picture, struck so deeply. It reminded them of what they once felt, and also revealed what they still feel. Archangel Insight says, do not be surprised if you notice small, almost hidden signs from them soon. A random message, a subtle like on something you post, a question they wouldn't normally ask. These are testing steps, gentle approaches to see if the door is still open. Respond with grace, but do not chase. Let the pull do its work. God is saying to you right now, I am not just restoring feelings, I am restoring purpose. This is not simply about bringing someone back into your life, it is about aligning both of you for what I have planned. There are blessings tied to this union, not just for you, but for people who will be touched by your joined lives. That is why the enemy fought so hard to keep you apart. The moment the friend saw your picture, the enemy lost a grip. A lie they once believed about you began to crumble. A false narrative began to dissolve. Truth began to shine through, and truth, once seen, cannot be unseen. Now, the angels are working on both sides. They are softening your person's heart, giving them clarity, and at the same time preparing you to receive what is coming. You must release the past hurts, the resentment, and the doubts, because when this connection moves forward, it will require a fresh foundation, one not built on old wounds, but on new trust. God says, in the coming days, you may feel a sudden wave of emotion, almost like you can sense them thinking of you. Pay attention to these moments, they are not your imagination. This is the tether between your souls vibrating with the movements of heaven. Soon, something will happen that seems small to others but will make you realize that everything the archangels have been saying is true. It might be a word, a look, a message, or an encounter, but it will be the undeniable sign that the shift has already taken place and is now manifesting in the physical world. I can now move into the next where God reveals the exact spiritual sequence that will unfold from this point until your person finally reaches out in full clarity. Do you want me to continue into that part right now? God says, from this moment forward, everything is in motion. You may not see the full picture yet, but in the spiritual realm the path is already laid out. The moment that friend saw your image, it set off a ripple that cannot be stopped, like a stone dropped into still water. The circles of impact are spreading wider and wider until they reach every part of your person's life. Archangel Insight says, here is the sequence heaven has revealed. First, there is the stirring. This is where your person feels the pull without having the words for it. They will remember moments with you out of nowhere, your smile, a conversation, the way your energy felt around them. This will happen in waves, and it will intensify. Second comes the challenge. The enemy does not sit idle when heaven moves. Someone around your person, it could be a friend, family member, or outside influence, will try to pull their focus away from you. This will be subtle, maybe even masked as concern or advice, but its goal will be to plant doubt again. God says, do not fear this. The truth planted by that friend's reaction will be stronger than any lie. Third comes the confirmation. This is when your person will start to notice signs, dreams, or repeated reminders of you that they cannot explain. They may even hear your name in places they don't expect, or come across something connected to you without looking for it. Each time, it will feel like a gentle push from the universe, but it is my hand guiding them. Fourth comes the approach. This will start small. A short message. A casual question. A comment that seems innocent on the surface but carries a deeper meaning. This is their way of testing the waters, of making sure they still have a way back to you. Finally comes the turning point. This is the moment where they can no longer sit in silence. Something will happen, maybe a dream so vivid it shakes them, maybe a situation that reminds them of losing you, and they will decide that staying away is no longer an option. God says, when this moment comes, it will feel like a sudden breakthrough, but it has been building ever since your picture was seen. Archangel Insight says, you must remain in position. Do not chase, do not beg, do not try to force this. Let the divine order unfold. Your role is to stay aligned, keep your heart open, and trust that what is meant for you is already in motion. God says, understand this connection is not ordinary. It is under divine watch. It carries a purpose beyond what you can see now. That is why so much interference tried to break it before, and that is why heaven stepped in through the smallest, most unexpected moment, a friend's reaction to a picture, to realign it. You will soon see that nothing about this was random. You were chosen for this. This was orchestrated for you. And the one who saw your picture and spoke those words? They were a messenger without even knowing it, delivering a spark that set an entire future back into place. When the moment comes, and it is coming soon, it will feel like the release of something you've been holding your breath for. You will know instantly, this is what heaven was preparing me for all along. If you want, I can now move into the deep prophetic closing part where God describes exactly how your first real reconnection with your person will feel and what it will mean for your destiny. Do you want me to go into that right now? God says, when the moment of reconnection comes, it will not feel like meeting someone new, it will feel like something ancient inside you has finally been restored. The atmosphere will shift before words are even exchanged. Your spirit will recognize theirs instantly, the same way it did before, but this time with a deeper awareness. You will sense that the separation was not wasted time, but preparation for what is about to unfold. Archangel Insight says, the first few seconds will hold more weight than you can imagine. Their eyes will tell you what their mouth may not be able to say right away, that they have been thinking of you, that they have been pulled toward you, that something about you has never left them since the day you crossed their path. The friend's reaction to your picture may never even be mentioned, but you will feel its echo in the way they look at you, as if they've been seeing you differently ever since. God says, in that moment, time will bend. You will feel both the weight of the past and the lightness of the present. The unspoken apologies will be in the air. The understanding that both of you have grown will be clear. It will be like stepping into a conversation heaven has been holding for you until the appointed time. There may be small talk at first, little details, polite questions, but underneath it, the energy will be thick with recognition. You will notice subtle things, the way they lean toward you, the pauses between their sentences, the way their voice softens. These are signs of a heart remembering its home. The angels say, "Do not let fear speak in this moment." The enemy will try to whisper doubts like, "What if they leave again?" or "What if this is too good to be true?" But God says, "I would not bring you this far just to watch it fall apart." This is the fruit of a seed planted in an instant, the instant that friend's eyes met your picture, and I have been watering it in secret ever since. This meeting will not be the end, it will be the doorway. Conversations will follow, deeper ones that peel away the walls both of you once built. You will hear truths you never knew, reasons for things that once hurt you, and confirmations that the connection you felt was never one-sided. God says, "You will understand in that moment why I told you to wait, why I told you to trust, why I allowed this to happen in such an unexpected way. You will see how I used even the smallest, most ordinary thing, a glance at a photograph, to bring about something extraordinary." Archangel Insight says, after this, the energy between you will move quickly. There will be opportunities, invitations, moments where you both step into each other's world again. It will feel natural, yet sacred, as if every step is guided. And God wants you to know this reconnection is not just about love. It is about destiny alignment. Together, you will walk into things neither of you could have reached alone. Blessings will open, doors will unlock, and even those who once doubted will see the hand of heaven on this. Soon, you will look back and realize that everything started with that one moment, the friend seeing your picture and speaking words that shifted everything. And you will whisper to yourself, God really does work in mysterious ways. If you want, I can now continue with the final prophetic seal of this message, the part where God declares his final promise over you and your person after this shift. Would you like me to go the next?